Today we're going to be replacing this instrument cluster component on the Mazda 3. As you can see, the LCD screen breaks down and it becomes unreadable during the day. So I'm going to replace that with what I hope is, well, what appears to be a very new part that I got from a wrecking yard. The car that we're actually replacing it in is a 2012 Mazda 3, and your car should look like this. I've never done this before, and there's actually not much direction, not much on YouTube about it. So got you on board for the journey so that as I learn, you learn as well. So the first thing to do is to remove this cover above the steering wheel. The thing to do first is to let this down so that your steering drops. And then what you'll notice is that there are some tabs here. Okay, so when you see a tab like that versus a location tab, then you need to be careful with that, because that's what's holding it in place. And if you go and break that, well, obviously it's going to sit up and irritate the heck out of you. So what I did while it was in place was I used two hands, a thumb either side, and I pushed away from myself, and then it came up, and then after it rose up, I was able to then just extract it out of the dash. What I'm now going to do is go to that screw there and that screw there, and I'm going to look at removing the instrument cluster. That hopefully should pull away, and then I'll disconnect the wiring looms that sit behind it. Okay, now that I have the screws out, I've got the speedo nice and loose. There are 1, 2 and 3 sort of spade locators. So as long as I pull the speedo toward me and don't do too much up and down movement, we should be okay. Okay, and it's always going to sound awful when it comes out. There's that awful crack sound, but it is okay. So now what we're going to do is get in behind, if I can get in there for you. And we're just going to undo those wiring looms. Now that the instrument cluster is removed, I can show you that you just need to press in the middle here. Okay, so there's just a depression in order to pull this out. I used the Phillips head. All you need is just something pointy to get in there and then remove it. To replace that, this flashing here needs to come off. There's a screw here. I reckon there's one over here as well, which means that the air conditioning housing needs to come out. So what I've done is I've just gone through with my plastic, and I've just gently prized that, and I can see now that this is now going to come toward me. So I'm going to do my best to remove that, and then we'll see what's behind it. With this area removed, I was able to get my fingers in behind and give this thing a little bit of persuasion, which is really good. So behind here, there's your wiring loom that needs to come out. And again, I just got in and just pressed that. There is a locator. That's what it looks like. So you are safe to just pull that off of the vent housing. What I would say though is if your Mazda is in good condition, there's a fair bit of mucking around here. So you might want to put something around here, because you know, it's easy to mark your plastic, especially when it comes to the sharp edges of the back side of these parts. So I haven't actually found a screw that holds this in, so I'm going to have a little bit of a hunt around, but basically this guy now needs to lift out of the way so I can get to there. Okay, so once again, what we've got is just the white spader clips. So this does actually just come out. And then you've got this guy here is still fixed. Just be careful, you don't want to bend that back and then have a nice stress white mark here or anything. So what you want to do, I really do hate that YouTube term, what you want to do. What you need to do, guys, is just make sure that this is separated from here. I'm going to need two hands. There's enough flexibility to just move it out the way, and then I can get this housing off. Okay, I've managed to get that all out without damaging this arm here, which is really good. What I am going to do now is just stop and grab the vacuum cleaner and go through here. All of this that you see is actually the result of a windscreen protector breaking down and then just showering down onto the dashboard. So I'm going to fix that before I go any further. Okay, so here we are, and there's all the parts, air conditioning, the replacement part, which I hope works, by the way. It looks like it's in really good condition. There's my flashing, and then there's the steering wheel cover. Okay, so we're at this stage here. So now what I need to do is undo this screw, and looks like there's only one screw. And then hopefully everything is consistent in that it'll pull away with the white spader clips. Let's see how we go. So this part's pretty nerve-wracking. Everything around here has all come out and it's all fine. This bit here, which I'm not replacing, it's staying, again, has all your white things and that's all coming away. But it's this middle bit here. I cannot get that to come toward me. This flashing comes off first. No screws, it's all just your white spades. Okay, that will reveal these two screws here to get this guy off that we're replacing. Another wiring loom at the back of the part to press and remove. I suppose it might be prudent to see if it works. And it does, hello. And there's all my stats. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry I can't show you as I go, but I need two hands. So that's all back in. So what you do is you just line it all up and have a look at where the little white spaders are gonna go. Like, go, oh yeah, it's gonna go into there, and that one's gonna go into there, and the bottom one's gonna go into there. So that way when you push, you can do it with confidence, okay? So that's all gone back together, and I've tightened up my screws for this guy behind here, and I've given them a decent tighten. You know, made sure that everything's in. You don't want rattles and all that sort of stuff. And make sure that you don't miss screws. So I've got another one here. This job so far has, well, in total actually, has been 5 screws. And I always find that the holder here is really good. It's got little soft compartments to put your screws. The ones for up here, well, I just put them down in the footwell because I wanted to keep them separate. They are mostly the same, except your Speedo ones have the hex on the top, but the rest of them are your normal round Phillips head. Okay, this is the next part to go in. Again, I'm going to look and line up all of these spots so that when I go to put it in, I put it in with confidence. I need to be careful with this guy here. He's sitting in free space and I don't want to break it. Okay, because of this one, what I did was I fed it in like this to get in under this guy. He gets priority, okay? And you can see here now that I've got everything lined up. I haven't snapped it in yet, but I've got everything all lined up, ready to go. This one here is sitting over the top, so I don't have to bend it under duress later on. And now I'm just going to go through, and there we go, and just start pushing it all through, but I need 2 hands now. That went really, really well. I really did not have to exert much pressure to get all of that in. And that's all nice and secure now. So now, hopefully, I've done everything in the right order. Don't forget your screw. All right. Now, one other thing that I didn't mention was making sure you put your wiring loom in. You don't want to come this far and realize that you didn't put your wiring loom in. You know mine is in because I demoed to you that it was actually working. But you've got to make sure that you do that here, and of course you've got to make sure that you do that here. My Mazda only has the one for the Speedo cluster, and then it's just got the one over here for this one as well. This screw here was the last of the circular screws. So the only 2 screws remaining now are the instrument cluster screws, which are the hex screws that go down here. So now it's time to put the air conditioning housing back on with its wiring loom, seat that correctly, and then we're going to go about putting the Speedo back in. Once again, looking at my location points so that when I push all this sort of stuff back in, I can do it with confidence. Okay, look for your click when you put that back in, and then your harness gets anchored to this one. There's that one over there, and then there's this one here, so it gets anchored to that one there. It's not back in yet, but when you put this one in, put your bottom locators in first, not the top ones. If you do the top ones, they won't seat correctly. Come in that way. All back in, nice and flush. So now what we're going to do is put the speedo cluster back in. Once that's done, then I'll be happy. So this is the important part. So I'm going to obviously put the wiring loom in, and then I'm going to line up my 3 anchors to where they go, and they're going to get priority. And then what should happen, if I get all of that correctly, then the screw holes here should be fine. Right, the instrument cluster has gone in okay. Now I'm going to put the top housing back on, and then we should be complete. Okay, so we've got, trying to focus here, we've got some catches here and a catcher clip here, and the same on the other side. So we just need to be careful. And we need to expect that they are going to click into place. Okay, so let's try and put that back in. Okay, the best tip that I can give you here is to line up the front. So once you line up the front and click that into place, then work your way backward, and then the ones at the back will find where they need to be. That's all come alive now. Now you'll notice that it said audio off, which is why I think that guy over there isn't doing anything. So, oh, there we go. I put the radio on, and now I'm starting to get a readout there on that. So we've successfully replaced that instrument panel within the dashboard. And look, I'll be straight with you. It was nerve-wracking. I never enjoy pulling dashboards of cars apart. You hear the cracking, you never know whether you're going to break something. And as you saw, I did actually break something, but fortunately for me, it was the part that I was replacing. So learn from my mistakes, and I really trust that this video will have helped somebody else, because I actually didn't see too much out there when it came to this particular model. It took me probably an hour and a half to do this. It'll be faster for you because you now know what you're doing. My videos are really just for people who want to give things a go rather than taking their car to the workshop and being charged a lot of money all the time. So yeah, I trust that this has really helped you, and I look forward to doing the next one.